So I recently saw a Janelle video titled 2 weeks with the cheapest Lange you can buy. And it was a video about the Sohne 1815. Now, if you spend as much time on the Sohne website as I do, you'll know the 1815 is not the cheapest Lange you can buy. So drama, okay? It caused drama in my heart. Is Janelle a liar? No, the video title was just a catchy video title. But if she is a liar, if you consider her a liar in your heart, guess what? So am I. Because this also isn't the cheapest Lange you can buy. I thought the Saxonia thin was the cheapest, but it's not. It's actually the ALS reference 219.032 Saxonia for £22,500 compared to this watch that I have in today for £22,900. But titling this video the second cheapest Lange you can buy it didn't have the same ring to it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Brittany, and on this channel we just talk about watches in a hopefully not pretentious and joyful way. And also, I'm just recovering from jaw surgery, so if you're wondering why I'm mumbling so much, it's that. Today we're looking at the second cheapest Sohne money can buy, the Saxonia thin. I have this watch on loan from the fantastic people over at Watchfinder, and they have generously let me borrow this watch for way too long since my accident. This is a watch I've always wanted to spend some real time with, and Watchfinder has made that possible, so thank you so much, guys. Now, Sohne is one of those watch brands I've always adored. Their design language, finishing, everything about them just speaks to my watch preferences. But they are so far out of my price point, it just kind of feels like a daydream when I talk about them or think about them. When the cheapest watch on tap is £22,500, that's when I know I'm not in my lane anymore. But I understand why these watches are priced the way they are, especially after spending some real time with this one. This is a completely different league of watch than I'm used to. Looking at the specifications, this watch has a diameter of 37 millimeters, a lug-to-lug of 43 mil, and a thickness of only 5.9 millimeters, making this Sohne's thinnest and flattest watch so far. The dial is really something else to look at, crafted from solid silver, 18-karat white gold case, and 30 meters of water resistance. This is an out-and-out dress watch. No complications, not even the date, just a clean, minimal, time-only dress watch. Everything I want. Inside this watch is the Lange L093.1 manual wind movement, giving you 70 hours of power reserve, but we'll be coming back to the movement later. Looking at the wearability of the Saxonia, the specifications make it sound a little bit more wearable than it is, or at least on my teeny tiny wrists. So even though it is 37 millimeters, it's a pretty large feeling 37. When I'm looking at dress watches versus dive watches or more tool watches, I'm usually looking for quite different measurements. With a dress watch, you have a very thin bezel, and it is easy for a dress watch to feel like a dinner plate on the wrist. So here this one is on my 5.5-inch wrist versus my husband's 6.5-inch wrist. You have no idea how sad this makes me to say, but I think this watch is ultimately too large on me and absolutely perfect on my husband's wrist. I would recommend this for someone with a 6-inch wrist all the way up to maybe even 7.5-inch wrist. One big misconception about dress watches is that you need to be dressed up to wear them. There are so many ways to wear a dress watch, and depending on your style, but I love the juxtaposition of wearing my dress watches in a more casual way. My Cartier tank and sweatpants, Sohne with jeans and a sweater. I think it looks so cool. I don't think casual dressing has to be limited to the Submariner. Let's look at some of the finishings now, because this is what really starts separating watches at this price point or at this tier of watchmaking. Turning this watch around is where the party really begins. This is why this watch commands the price that it does, the craftsmanship that goes into it. So we've got the 3/4 plate made of German silver with a very slight, almost yellow tinge to it, held in with blued screws. glass Huda striping, gold chatons held by blued screws, and don't even get me started on the cock and swan neck regulator. One of my all-time favorite features of a Lange & Sohne is the hand-engraved balance cock. So the manufacturer only has a smattering of engravers, and legend has it they can tell each other's work just from glancing at it and being like, oh yeah, Dave did that one, that looks like Dave's work. An insane amount of hand finishing and human effort went into making this timepiece. Now looking at the dial, we have a very minimal watch. Some might even say boring, but I wouldn't. I'd describe this as timeless elegance, and some people will love that and some people won't. But everything is exactly how it is meant to be. It is not meant to be for everyone. One interesting complaint I heard from Andrew of Time and Tide was regarding the ampersand and with it not being centered with the 12 o'clock. And you know, I had never heard someone point that out before, and it made me think about it for a second. But this honestly doesn't bother me at all. I actually think it would look kind of weird and, I don't know, a bit wonky if it was in line with the 12 o'clock, and I kind of like the misalignment. But that also plays into my wabi-sabi sensibilities. Now the big question I've been asking myself looking at this watch is it worth it? Sometimes in the watch space we can begin to normalize insane prices, and this is insanely priced. At least I do, maybe you guys don't, but I begin to think like $7,000 is, oh, that's a reasonable price to pay for a watch, even though that's a crazy amount. So this watch is for sale at Watchfinder for £15,665, and to buy it new from a Lange & Sohne costs £22,900. Is it really worth that kind of money? And I guess it depends on who you are, how much money you allot to spending on watches, what your personal income is, and if this aligns with your taste and style preferences. If you're shopping in this realm of watches, what you're getting for this money is actually pretty good. For example, the Patek Philippe Ladies Nautilus 7118 costs more than this watch. To me, I think this is absolutely worth the price tag. It's just not really in my current price point. This is one of those watches, and a Lange & Sohne is one of those brands that just fills me with awe and wonder at the craftsmanship and the human effort that goes into timekeeping, and reminds me of why I fell in love with watches in the first place. Maybe it doesn't do that for you, but it does it for me. Timepieces like this aren't about hype. They aren't about trying to be like Rolex. They are in a league of their own, and timekeeping done in the most beautiful fashion. And that's what I love. If you're wanting to pick one of these up, they're actually quite available, so you don't need a crazy purchase history like you do to pick up certain Patek Philippe's or almost any Rolexes. So if you visit an a Lange & Sohne boutique, they should be able to sort you out or get one in quickly for you. Really great entry level into this brand. Or if you are wanting to save a little bit of money and you're not fussed about pre-owned, they do go for below retail on the secondary market. That's personally what I would do, but I love a deal. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for a Lange & Sohne, and spending some real time with this has only made me more convinced that I want to own one day. For me, the one I'd love to own is the little Lange one. Just, it's me all over. It's me in a watch. But yeah, hopefully I can own one of these one day. Loved it. I'm looking at it on my wrist now. I don't feel like it is too big. I don't know. I go through different phases. Some days I think it looks a little bit too large, and sometimes I think it looks just right. But I'm rambling right now. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. Do all that YouTube stuff. Yes, Pope tier patrons. Thank you. Pope tier patron song. Broken jaw Pope tier patron song.